Well, good evening, Cam. We have an After Dark episode tonight.
We do.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yep.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. This is going to be an interesting episode tonight because we are grading our predictees. Just 2 days, 3 days, 3 days, 2 days.
2 days.
2 days. It's Thursday, so that's 2 days. All right. I told you the rum was hitting my head a little bit already. Yes, 2 days after the Apple September event, we are going to grade our predictees. This episode I'm going to put out this weekend. So we'll have back-to-back weekends that we have episodes out, which means that there will be a little bit of a lag until we get our next episode out. So a little programming note for all you faithful listeners out there. So both of you. Anyway, no, I know there's a few more than both, but anyway. All right. Well, the first thing I wanted to discuss tonight is I had my first experience with adaptive audio this morning with my AirPods 2, AirPods Pro 2, and I like them a lot. I like it a lot. So I'll paint the picture for you. So I turned on the adaptive audio feature because it popped up on my phone and said, hey, you have the adaptive audio feature. Here's some things you can do with it. And it had a nice little splash screen. So I activated it and I went about my business. Sounded just like transparency mode. So I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. And maybe I'll notice something as we go along. And so I'm making coffee and I reach over to my coffee grinder and I hit the button on my coffee grinder, and I'm not kidding. All of a sudden the coffee grinder went from loud to like kind of in the middle. Like it just kind of faded about midway down. And I was listening to actually Connected Pro while I was making my coffee. So it pulled the audio of the grinder down underneath the audio that I was listening to in my headphones, which I thought was interesting because it didn't eliminate the noise.
It just ducked it.
But it just ducked it under what I was listening to. So it was really interesting how that worked. So I'm a big fan. I like it. It seems like what it's doing is not necessarily eliminating or like canceling the noise like the noise cancellation does, but it literally can. Okay, this sound here is really loud, so I'm going to bring this down so that he can still hear what he's listening to, but he can still know that whatever's going on is going on. So I thought that was really interesting that worked that way. I did not compare it against noise cancellation, which I probably should have, but it did do that. So it was really interesting to do that. Now, along with the adaptive audio comes conversation awareness. And this is one thing that I think that is probably good in certain situations, but not good in others. So I turned on conversation awareness to test it out. And the first thing, like I kind of forgot that I turned it on. And then I looked down at my cat and I said, hey buddy, what you doing? And all of a sudden the audio just faded down to zero in my headphones or in my AirPods 2 to where it wasn't playing at all. And then after a few seconds of being quiet, the audio came back up and continued the podcast. And then I went out in the living room and I sat down and I said something to my wife, and she didn't really say much back to me, but I just said something to her to see what would happen. And the conversation awareness kicked in and the audio came all the way down to zero. And I'm assuming it paused the podcast that I was listening to. And then a few minutes or like maybe 10 seconds later or so, the audio came back up and my podcast came back on. So
interesting.
The plus here is that if you're in an environment where maybe somebody's going to want to talk to you, or it's going to be important, like maybe you're not going to really talk to a lot of people, but you're going to have that one person that's going to say hi to you or something like that, and maybe want to have a conversation. I think the conversation awareness is kind of useful in those situations. for me to be at home and have the conversation awareness on doesn't really make sense. Because if my wife starts talking to me, I'm probably just going to pause my podcast and talk to her.
Smart man.
Yeah, right. Where if I'm using conversation awareness, who's to say if she's talking to me that it doesn't come back on midway through our conversation? So I haven't tested that out specifically, but maybe that'll be follow up for our next episode as far as how that works. But so far, I really like the adaptive audio. I did turn on the automatic volume control to see like what it would do. I know that it did. First off, when I first turned it on, it pulled the audio way down, so I had to turn it back up. But it left it up, so it's gonna use machine learning to learn where I want my audio, and then it should adjust to me and my situation as far as like how loud it's gonna be. So we'll see what happens. I think the first good one good test for the adaptive audio is going to be the next time I need to mow the lawn. So I'll try it with the lawnmower and see how that works. So
yeah, that's noisy boy.
I mean, I have an electric lawnmower, so it's not super noisy, but it still makes noise. So that's my review of my quick 1-day review of the adaptive audio. So we should probably get right into our predicties then.
Oh, yes.
Hey, before we do that, I've got a real quick question for you. And maybe I should have asked this before we went on the air. But I didn't think that we really needed to do a Delighting Me segment today. But I thought about doing like a high and low for the event. Like what was your high point of the event? What was your low point of the event? So maybe we can just review that when we get done with the predictees. So does that work for you?
Okay.
Do you like it?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Cool. What are you going to say now that we're live on the air, right? Sure. Let's try it.
See how it works. Enough of this. I quit.
So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our predictees for this event. All right. Well, I think we've got some things to talk about, some things to contest, perhaps. But right now, our score is looking really close. So this could go either way. I'm going to tell you, I think you got this one, but we'll see. We'll see what happens once we adjudicate all this. And so, all right. Well, we'll start with the iPhone, as we did with the picks. So our first two iPhone picks were pretty much similar. Where I said at least one iPhone would have a USB-C charging port. You said that they would all have USB-C charging ports.
Yes, and somehow we each only get 1 point for this, even though I took the bigger risk.
Yep.
Yes.
So we both get that point. So hold on.
Yes.
So we get those points there. In the second round, I picked at least one iPhone camera will be announced with a 6x or more optical zoom.
All right, this is our first point of contention because I'm looking at the Apple spec page, and the highest number I see is 5x. And that's on the Pro Max.
So that is the telephoto lens. But in the announcement here, I have the audio to share with you. So hold on just 1 second.
I don't know, folks. I feel like this is doctored. He photoshopped the audio.
Macro is one of the 7 lenses of the new Pro camera system with a 10x optical zoom range going from 13 to 120 millimeter focal length, making iPhone 15 Pro Max more powerful and more versatile than ever.
Now, if he hadn't said 10x optical zoom, I probably wouldn't have argued for this one. But if you consider the optical zoom from the macro lens all the way up to the 5x on the telephoto lens, apparently it's a 10x optical zoom. So
well, and I'll be honest, the only reason I'm not fighting this more is because there's 7 lenses in the 3 cameras. An optical zoom means lenses and not, software based. So yeah.
And the quote did say 10x optical zoom.
So. I know, but he also mentioned the fact that there's lenses, and I would have, because Apple's website says 0.5, 1x, 2x, 5x optical zoom options.
Yeah.
But
so,
all right, fine. You get the point. I concede.
All right. Hold on.
Yes.
All right. We got that one. Or should I do? I don't know. I don't know if the Grogu is at the thing yet or not, but all right. So we have your pick. Did you want to say your pick here?
Yes, improved, which means lower number aperture for one of the cameras on the iPhone 15. So this is where we get into some interpretation.
If I can cut in here real quick, let me pull up the article that I sent you. So it was comparing the iPhone 14 Pro versus the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I'm sorry, the iPhone 15. And let me see if I can find the quote here. Let's see. Where was that? Because I believe the camera specifications for the iPhone 14 Pro were 1.5 for the aperture and f1.5. Yes, it says for the main camera of the iPhone 14, that's a f1.5 aperture, and the
15 is 1.6.
15 is 1.6. So if it requires a lower number, that is definitely a higher number.
I wasn't going to argue that point.
Okay.
I was going to say that the ultra wide on the iPhone 14 is 2.4 and the ultra wide on the 15 Pro is 2.2. But if you go to the 14 Pro, it's also 2.2. So I don't get that one. I didn't think to check that before I opened my mouth. I was just oh, the 15 Pro's got a lower aperture, and then it's like, well, if we're going to compare apples to apples, I need to check the 14 Pro, and lo and behold, they are the exact same, 14 Pro to 15 Pro. So I do not get this point. It remains red with a big fat 0 next to it.
Okay.
And just like that, it's 2-point swing, folks. 1 for Mitch, 0 for Cam.
All right. So round 3, the Pro iPhones will have a titanium component. That was my pick for round 3. And of course, I get a point for that.
Yes.
Because, of course, they do have titanium. Did you want to talk about the titanium? It is interesting.
Okay. I
thought it was interesting. I was tempted to pick for the Buck Wild pick that they were going to talk about metallurgy, and they certainly did. That was one of my thoughts. And they certainly did, because she made a really big point about how, and I think I didn't see it. I would have to go back and look at it, but somebody mentioned on one of the podcasts that she was credited as a metallurgist in the video. So anyway, she was pretty jazzed about the fact that they had come up with this way of fusing the aluminum and titanium for the chassis. So I thought that was interesting.
People got to have their stuff to nerd out about. Yep. That just isn't mine.
Yeah,
but good for them.
Anyway, that's a point for me. And what is your third round pick?
Pro models will have faster USB or Thunderbolt transfer speeds. They do not have Thunderbolt, but they do have faster USB transfer speeds.
Yes. So, perfect. All right. So after the iPhone rounds, the score currently is 3-2 in my favor. And we're going to go on to the Apple Watch. So I said no new sensors, but Apple will upgrade at least one of the current sensors. So I gave myself a point for that.
Yes.
And that is because they seemingly upgraded the heart rate sensor to work with the double tap. So, because it can detect things that the other heart rate sensors apparently can't detect, because then we're not going to get this feature in any other watch but the new one. Cam, you look pensive.
Yeah, I'm trying to find loopholes here, but my lawyer skills are failing me.
Okay. Did you want to...
Just a unfrozen caveman lawyer. Your ways, they confuse and scare me.
And your round 4 pick, sir?
New chipset for Series 9. It'd be the S9 and the U2, folks.
Yes.
You got them both.
Yep. I went ahead and gave him that one because I was feeling nice.
Because I got it. I accurately predicted the future yet again, Mitch.
No, you're good. You're good.
Me and Carrot Weather, we're, simpatico.
So this was a travesty. We're gonna talk about my round 5 pick here in just a second, but this was an absolute travesty. And apparently, there was a point where I'm trying to remember who was talking about this. If it was, I think Stephen Hackett said that when he was at the event, and when they got to talking about the Ultra, the Apple Watch Ultra, that when they moved on without announcing a new color, they're literally like, they were all looking at each other like, what the heck? Like, I thought it was heavily rumored that there was going to be another color, and there was no color. So my pick was new Ultra Watch color. And of course I did not get that. So I didn't get that one. So I'm kind of sad about that, but yeah. All right. Your pick for round 5
is a new type of band, which we got the FineWoven loop and buckle.
Should we talk about this? The FineWoven,
no space.
No
Camel
space.
Case. FineWoven.
Mm-hmm. So the morning of the event, I text you about this.
Yeah.
And what I found...
Someone pulled the trigger a little early.
I found really hilarious was that Siri, or the autocorrect, did not correct my spelling for FineWoven. So apparently that was already in the dictionary for autocorrect. And I says, well, I think they just spoiled it because I can type this and it's not autocorrecting it. So... But the whole, I think if there was a theme to this event, it was definitely the idea of them being carbon neutral by 2030, because it seemed they spent 20 minutes on it, and then,
my God, they brought it up every 2 minutes,
and then it came up quite a bit after that. But yeah. So did you enjoy the little skit?
I thought it was twice as long as it needed to be.
Probably, yeah. But I'm not sure if I enjoyed it in a way of like the first season of Office kind of awkward, or if it was just terrible. But there was a part of me that was like, this is almost kind of first season of The Office kind of awful. So, but the scene where
I'll have more thoughts on that later,
where Tim was staring down Mother Nature, and it just seemed like totally awkward the way he was doing it. I've heard a few different podcasts talk about that, and I think it was Mike Hurley said that that's what he thought was funny, because it was just leaning into how awkward Tim is with stuff like that. But it was a little bit painful to watch in certain spots and that. But anyway. So you did get that point.
Yes.
New watch band colors. Absolutely.
Yes.
Easiest pick of any.
Yep. That was low hanging fruit
announcement.
But I think that, is there any of them that struck you?
No.
Okay. Well, they revamped all of the Ultra Watch bands. And, of course, right away, I thought the orange Ocean band looked amazing. I probably will be surprised if I don't have one of those. But they did also have one that had kind of a taupe color with blue and orange on it. It was one of the trail loops. I thought that looked pretty cool, too. So I might have to look up and see if I can't grab a knockoff version of that at some point.
I will say, I'll backtrack a little bit. The new Nike sports bands that have all the flecks of different colors in them.
Yeah, those look pretty cool.
Those are fun.
Yeah, I really like the blue one with the orange inlays on it. So that might come home at some point too. So we'll see. But yeah, pretty happy with what they did. They really made a point to point out that Hermes did not have any leather bands. But then after the event, they announced that Hermes still had some leather bands. So I thought that was kind of funny because they didn't announce them in the event themselves. But yeah, it was interesting.
Well, that would go against their whole message that they're better than everybody else because
hey, they're carbon neutral.
Environment.
Their Apple Watch is carbon neutral now.
It's a great thing. I'm all for it, but I will tell you more about my annoyances at a later point in the show when it's more appropriate.
Sounds good. All right, well, let's head into round 6. And my first pick in round 6 was new watch band colors. Oh, wait, we already talked about that, didn't we?
We sure did.
All right, well, let's move on to yours then. Hold on.
Apple Watch Ultra gets a hardware update.
Man, by the slimmest skin of your tooth, you got this one. They updated to the S9.
Yeah. So I'll take it.
There wasn't much else to talk about, honestly, but they did add a new watch face for the Ultra. But
which wouldn't have really helped because that's not hardware.
Yeah. But anyway,
yes,
you got that one. So, all right, moving on to the wild card rounds. That we're starting round 7 here. We have for me, no leather cases, but Apple will replace them with a new case material.
Yes.
Of course, I got that one for the FineWoven cases. And yours, sir.
The iPhone 15 comes in yellow.
Yes.
And it does.
So the yellow is like, all the colors are like the palest of colors. I mean, they're almost white with a slight color to them. Although I've heard that the camera plateau on them, those colors are a little bit richer and deeper in person.
Yeah, well, the glass is thicker, right? Yeah, but it helps it stick out too.
Yeah, but
interesting choice.
Yeah, wherever it's etched, looks really light. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not neon or electric or bright. They are very much pastel in that regard. Very light, very airy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still yellow, so I'll take it.
You get the point.
Yes.
All right, my I'm losing count. 8th round. We're in the 8th round now. My pick was new AirPods with USB-C charging. Man, if I wouldn't have specified that it was the regular AirPods, I would have this one right now. But I did specify in the last episode that it was it would be the AirPods, like, what is it, 4th generation that I was specifically speaking of, that I wasn't talking about the AirPods Pro 2. So...
Yeah, because you did say not the AirPods Pro 2.
Yep, I did say AirPods. That. So I shouldn't have said that. But
bummer, dude.
Nope, I don't get that one. So right. What is your 8th round pick?
Tim Cook is wearing a new Apple Watch or a new band during the event.
So you sent pictures. I saw the pictures in
Exhibits
the document
A,
here.
B, and C in our show document.
So I don't know what you're talking about with the Exhibit C, because all I see is the screen of the Apple Watch.
That's for reference. That is the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is Exhibit C.
Okay, which looks exactly like the 1st generation.
No, it's totally different.
How does it look different?
I'm kidding, Mitch. I'm literally scraping the bottom of the barrel here, trying to con you into giving me a point.
So looking at the band that he's wearing,
it's definitely not a new band. Like, it's not the FineWoven.
Well,
buckle. It's
okay. So I'm willing to give this to you if you can prove that the colors of this band are new, because it looks like a taupe band, and there's a white edge on one edge of it. This is the band that he's wearing. It looks like, is he wearing this at the end of the video?
This is the very beginning.
Oh, is this the very beginning? Okay.
Hold on. I gotta change my settings here because my display is doing that whole night shift nonsense and turning the colors funny. All right, so if I zoom in, oh yeah, interesting. It does have that little scrolling through all the watch. Oh, it's an ultra. I need to go to the ultra bands.
Yeah.
Duh. Band type Apple Watch Ultra 2. Ooh, could it be the green gray trail loop? That has the white.
I'm digging into it here to see, so give me just a second. I have to scroll through a whole bunch of garbage that I don't want to scroll through to get to this. Actually, I don't think that what I was looking at was the right thing to look at.
I'm adding the one that I think it is into the document. You'll note the similar colors. The light band on one side. The same color in the middle. The dark band on the other. I think I got it, dude. I think I got the point.
All right, so you think it's this one here. Which, by the way, the trail loops are carbon neutral.
Yes, indeed.
So you think it's this one.
The green gray trail loop. That also has the very convenient new moniker on it.
Oh, no, this is a new color. It's just a matter of whether or not this is the same color that he's wearing. So
I think it's it, man. I'm pretty darn good with colors. That's it.
Well, I can't say that it's not that, so I'm apt to give it to you. So, all right, 1 point for you.
You are a benevolent predictator, Mitch.
Yeah, well, that's gonna end today, I think. So we will make that green and give you the point on that. All right, next round. I said no new iPads at this event. Of course, I get a point for that.
Yes. Indeed.
And then your
yes, this was the second of two picks
AirPods
in a row that
Pro
you had.
get updated.
Yes, this was the second of two picks in a row that you had graded yellow because you weren't sure.
I wasn't sure when I was going through and doing this. Well, of course, I have to make that green because they did indeed add a USB-C case.
Yep.
And there are some rumblings that there's some secret sauce in these new ones that will enable lossless audio with the Vision Pro.
Ooh,
so I've heard some things. So
they for sure, when they talked about the connectivity of the new iPhones, they mentioned the AirPods Pro getting updated to USB-C, and I have the timestamped link there. Should anyone wish to argue, Miss Cayenne said so it's true.
All right. Well, I am not arguing at this point. So
all right, good.
All right. So this takes us into our Buck Wild picks. And my Buck Wild pick was that one of the presenters will be wearing orange. So
I forgot about this pick. Who was wearing orange?
So here's what I went through and I watched it, and I literally made notes in Notion as to what people were wearing.
Good. I've got it pulled up. Give me timestamps.
All right. So I don't have timestamps, but Lisa Jackson, the environmental director or whatever, in the video with Mother Earth, she was wearing a blazer with the lapels were clearly orange. And let me pull up the doc because there was one other individual that was wearing a orange watch band. And I've got
and even her jacket is like a soft orange. Like the lapels are bright, but the jacket itself is like an orangish, like terracotta sort of deal.
All right, now you got to figure out where I put this note now. Jeez.
And there's a dude with like a dark orange sweater in that video too. Now you said presenters.
Well, she did present.
But did she have that same outfit on when she was presenting? She did not.
No, she did not. So Misha Sapanovic.
He was the camera dude, right?
He was the camera guy. He's director of optics at Apple.
Bro, here's the solution right here. I'm just going to tell you this right now. I'm putting this in the show doc. Mr. Jeff Williams wearing a bright orange rain jacket while talking about
Oh, that is
Ultra.
right. He was, for sure. How did I miss that?
I was just scrubbing through it, and I was like, holy orange. There we go.
All right. So,
all right, you get the point.
Case that's solved. So, all right. And what was yours?
My Buck Wild card pick was this event will last between 65 and 75 minutes, which, if you're doing the math, folks, is 1 hour and 5 minutes to 1 hour and 15 minutes. Guess how long it was?
1 hour and 22 minutes.
I missed it by 7
You missed it by 7 minutes. So,
and guess what? This could have easily been 15 minutes shorter.
Oh, for sure.
I'm so annoyed.
No.
I'm so stop it.
All right. And then our annual predictees that we pulled over. I said there will be one new product with the Ultra branding. Of course, I got that wrong.
No.
And folks, for the win, Dynamic Island on all new iPhone models.
Yes.
Pew, 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 pew.
Well, congratulations. You won 9 points to my 8 points.
Which, one, thank you. But secondarily, let's both congratulate ourselves for
we did pretty good.
Very impressive amount of correct predictions.
Right.
Like 8 is usually a winning number.
Out of 11 predictions, I got 8 right and you got 9 right. So,
I mean,
very nice.
I think that means we're pretty darn good at this. Is what
well,
that means.
Here's what I think. I think this was a pretty predictable event. There was a lot of rumors out going into this. I think there was a lot of easily pickable stuff. There was a lot of low-hanging fruit, and I think if you listened to Connected this week, there was a 3-way tie for the Rickies. So it obviously it was a pretty easy one to predict. So, and I think even the upgrades draft was like that too, where they had
we
a lot
still
of
made the right
correct
choices,
answers.
Mitch.
We certainly did.
We could have gone extra Buck Wild with the Buck Wild picks.
Yep. To me, I like predicting orange things in my Buck Wild picks. It's on brand for me. So,
indeed. Well, it is my honor to reclaim the title of benevolent predictator.
Yep. Well, congratulations, sir.
Go forth and smite all mine enemies.
If Twitter was a thing, I would give you the Twitter handle, but
yeah, we even had that.
We did. I don't think I think there might be one post from it, but I am not promoting that anymore.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, is there anything that you want to point out from the event? Because really what it comes down to is Apple Watch and iPhone. So we can go right into what is... are you seeing me? Because I just locked up in the video.
Oh, yeah, you're very frozen, and your frozen face looks confused and slightly annoyed.
Oh, I was confused and slightly annoyed here a minute ago when that happened. So I will go ahead and just give you my picture instead of me. So anyway, where were we going with this? All right, so let's go ahead and do our highs and lows for the event. So high point for the event, what did you think was your high point for the event?
Probably the new camera system on the Pro and Pro Max, and jumping from a 48 megapixel, which they had on the 14, right? But just the ability to bring it down to 24 megapixels, but like extra sharp resolution and the different ways that it, they're just stacking, right? Every year they're just stacking more and more into the camera. And then the video, you can do on the Pros, you can record your video on your iPhone straight to an external hard drive. So you can get 4K 60 on your phone and record straight to an SSD via USB-C, which is just really cool because that stuff can take up a ton of space, especially if you're doing like some of the ProRes video and that sort of stuff. So being able to do that straight to an SSD is really, really neat. And it just gets better and better, and the portrait mode gets better, and the cinematic mode gets better, and it's just, that to me was probably the takeaway as far as, like, what I think was the most impressive, or for me, right? Because that's
because you're the camera guy. So I think for me it was I think the things that I'm most excited about is probably something I'm not going to have for a while, but I thought that some of the Apple Watch stuff was really cool. That double tap feature, that's something that I played around with a little bit with the assisted touch. And I don't have it active on my watch now, but it's something that, to be able to control your watch with one hand instead of having to bring your other hand over to do stuff was a really cool option.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll be a really, really neat feature of the new Apple Watches.
Well, and I think too, like, this is probably, wish casting for the future, but the double tap is a pretty basic function, but like, what is that going to look like in 5 to 10 years? Can I double tap and hold and twist? Can I double tap and bring my wrist down to control like volume or lights, or like, what else can get added to, or what's another, besides the double tap, what's something else that they can trigger via the watch that in, again, 5 or 10 years we're going to be able to, like, Minority Report style, like, grab stuff and manipulate, like, that's the kind of stuff that's like sci-fi, right? That we're just kind of like waiting to see if that's actually possible in our lifetime or not. But this is obviously the first step in that sort of direction, where the hardware and the software working together to discover movements that are not directly input to the touchscreen, right? And that feels like, even though it's something as simple as the, I can pause my timer or take a picture, or like whatever, this still feels like, oh, this is new, this is exciting, this is something that doesn't exist, right, on any other Apple Watch. It hasn't at this point yet. I'll be honest, I don't really keep up with the Android side of the watch thing, so I don't know what's going on over there, but it's something seemingly innocuous, but I think this is the first step towards some cool stuff down the road if they choose to, pursue it. Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool in that regard.
Yeah. And I'll say, some runners up to that. I think that the new Nike Plus watch face is kind of cool. I wish I could get a hold of that new watch face that's on the Ultra, because I thought that was pretty cool too. There is actually another watch face that was added that was not announced. It's like the solar gradient watch face or something like that. It's nothing real exciting, which is probably why they didn't talk about it. But it is a newer watch face that was added to the phone, or to the watch rather. But I thought that, the new materials stuff was pretty cool. I thought the Hermes watch bands were actually really cool. The orange one that they had on there that was supposedly like a rubber, but it was like interlocked different like pieces of rubber and stuff like that. I thought that looked really sweet. I could never afford to buy it, I'm sure, but it was a cool looking watch band. So.
$1 million,
right? That it might as well be. So, but yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. So those are my high points. What would you say the low points of the event were?
Okay, let me preface this by saying, being environmentally conscious is a wonderful thing. Being carbon neutral is a wonderful thing. Telling me about it every 4 freaking minutes on every single product is so annoying. On top of that, playing that 5-minute long video where all you're doing is just bragging about how awesome you are, it was so annoying the entire time. I get it. It's carbon neutral. You have a fun little logo. If I buy this watch with this band, again, I'm all for this. It's very good. The fact that a company this large is doing what they need to do on their scale to do this is incredibly impressive. And I'm very happy that they're doing it. And kudos to you. But you telling me how awesome you are because you're doing this over and over and over. Like, tell me once or twice. You don't need to tell me 8 separate times over the span of 80 minutes. It was so annoying. Yeah. So that was the low point for me. Like, I should be happy that they're doing this. Yeah. Because it is a very good thing. It's a wonderful thing. Right? Yep.
And I think we're to be good stewards of the earth. So,
exactly.
It's something that's worthy.
Yeah. And so what I'm even more frustrated about is that I'm annoyed that I'm annoyed. You know what I mean? Like, the good work that they are doing in this regard, which it is very, very, very good work. And they don't need to do this.
So
they don't have to.
So Cam is peak annoyed right now.
But the fact that they took something that is good and something that they're going out of their way to do and spending lots of money and changing supply chains and all of this stuff. And my takeaway is how annoyed I am with how much they told me about it. That's frustrating to me. I should be ecstatic that they're doing this. And instead, I'm just shut up. Just stop telling me.
And not to quote you, but you're annoyed that you're annoyed.
Yeah, I know.
That's why this is peak annoyed for you.
Exactly.
So, very good.
So anyways.
I would say my low point for the event was, Apple, we like color. Why does everything have to look like drab and depressing?
Like the Pro phones, you mean?
Yeah. Why can't we? I'm sorry, but why can't we just have orange? Why can't we have bright, fun colors? Even the orange silicon case is like sherbet orange or sorbet orange. I don't know, however you want to pronounce that. It's like this light, like fluffy orange. Like, why can't you just give me an orange case? Like, I was so looking forward to some of the early rumors about the FineWoven case that it was going to come in like 10 or 15 different colors. Like, it would just had all these colors. Well, it came in 4 or 5. And what am I doing? I'm getting a black phone with a black case, because to me, I don't really want anything else, because for me to do the natural, everybody's crazy about this natural titanium, which that's fine. Like, even my wife was like, I'm going to go with the natural titanium, because she's never had a Pro phone before, and she's going with the Pro phone this time. And so kudos to her. I think it's awesome. But when she said, I think I'm going to go with the natural, like, what? Natural? Well, I don't like the black, and I don't like the white, and the blue is like, meh. And she's like, I'll go with the natural. So,
right. Titanium in the buff.
And then she's going to get the mulberry colored case, which is kind of a like maroonish purple color. So she was excited about that.
Is that one scratch and sniff? Because that'd be awesome.
Yeah, right. But that's one of the FineWoven cases, which I'm going to be getting the 5.
Smells like a rich red wine.
Yeah, it's the FineWoven black case that I'm getting. So, so we're going to be a FineWoven family.
It's nice.
But no, I would really love to see, like, it frustrates me with Apple that the colors that they do always seem overly artistic or overly, like, I don't know exactly how to explain it. Like, it's like, I would like more color options. The fact that they have a case that is taupe, like, who buys a taupe case?
People that drive Volvos and are also the life of the party.
Are you getting a taupe case?
I don't drive a Volvo.
No. So taupe case, like, how more boring could you be?
I'm more of a beige guy than a taupe guy.
But there's not even that big a difference between the two.
Oh, let me tell you the differences, Mitch.
I mean, I had years ago, I've got the gold, I think it was the iPhone 6S that had the white back on it with the gold, all the gold accents to it. The only thing that really annoyed me about actually it was a gold on the back, but it was a white front, which I'm so glad that they don't do the white fronts anymore.
I forgot all about those.
Yeah, because that just annoyed me
forehead
after a while.
and the chin. Yeah.
But the really cool color combination to go with that was like the saddle brown case. And to me, like, it looked really nice. It looked really rich. But this is not saddle brown. This is taupe. This is like, hey, here's a color that almost looks a little bit like sand, but is worse. So, but
it's like sand that's had too many cigarettes.
It's terrible. And looking through the cases for the silicon cases, like, I wasn't really impressed with any of those colors either.
Mitch, I think I have a solution for you.
Yeah.
I think you just need to go get an iPhone 5C and just live the iPhone 5C life for a while.
See, and if I wanted an orange one out of the iPhone 5C, I've got to go with the coral, and that's pink.
Can't win. I can't win, folks. Pink. I tried. I reached into my pocket and got out the brightest colored iPhone line they ever made. And even that's not good enough.
So what's funny is that my wife had a 5C. I had the 5S at the time, but my wife had the 5C, and I showed her the coral color, and I thought, you probably like this color, and we can pair it with a nice one of the cases. You remember the cases that had all the holes in them so you could see the color through it? Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, I think I'll go with a green one. I was like, you sure? This is the 2-year commitment you got here. Are you sure you want to go with the green one? She's like, yeah, I think I'll go with the green one. So she didn't even like the coral. And I thought she'd be totally down with that, but it is what it is. I told her, I was like, there's no pink, or there's a pink phone, but there's no purple phone this year. And she's like, oh. She's like, and I don't even really like that pink. Because I thought for sure that she would go with the pink 15 with the mulberry case, because I thought that would be a nice combination. You got the pink and the purple. But she's like, no, I think I'll go with the Pro. It's got that better camera on it that you were talking about, right? And I was like, yeah, it's got a better camera. She's like, oh, yeah, I think I'll go with that.
All right, good choice, cool. Jamie. Good choice.
Yeah. So, and I would assume that you would go with something like that as well.
Yeah, but I have to crunch the numbers.
I know you're behind on your upgrade cycle, so you won't be getting anything right away. But
well, so there's a thing here, right? Mm-hmm. So if I want to upgrade, I can upgrade now, and they'll keep me on the 2-year monthly, whatever.
Okay.
If I want to trade in and get the $1,000 off, whatever, I have to wait a few months until this is totally paid off. But I don't know if that trade in will still be there. So I need to sit down and actually, like, I know the pre-orders are like tomorrow. I'm not really going to worry about that. I think in the next week or two, I'll sit down and figure out really, like, okay. And if that means I have to go into a Verizon store and talk to, some guy named Brock about what my options are, I'll gladly do that. Because if I can trade it in and kind of change my relationship to my cell phone bill, that I might do. But again, I don't know if that deal, the trade-in deal, will still be there in the 4 months that I need. Because what I don't want to do is just pay $300 now to have it paid off to turn around, and I need to crunch the numbers is what I need to do. That's essentially
I'll tell you that I've got the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I got $540 towards my new phone
for upgrading.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that can
I've got that 13 Pro, and it's in impeccable shape.
Yeah. So my wife and I both already set up our pre-orders for tomorrow morning because you can save them ahead of time. And at 7:00 Central Standard Time, or Central Daylight Time, actually, we will be on there getting our order in, and hopefully we'll have it on launch day. So.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is because I'm going back to Detroit that weekend, the 23rd and 24th, because they're supposed 22nd is when they start showing up. And it would be really nice to have, I mean, the camera on the 13 is great, right? But like the reason I'm going back to Detroit is that we have my dad and I have tickets to the Lions versus Falcons game. And as part of that ticket package that we got, we get on-field access pregame during warmups. And boy, if there's a place that I would like to test out a new camera, that sure would be it. Cause I don't know if I'm ever going to get that opportunity again.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That being said, obviously the camera on the 13 is wonderful. And I need to ask my dad, because my dad got the tickets because one of his clients works for the Lions, and as a thank you, this guy did it. So like, I need to know, can I bring my like camera? Because if that's the case, I'm bringing my real camera with the big old lens on it. But I also don't want to overstep my bounds. So anywho, skis. Yeah, maybe I'll do that research tonight just in case I make the decision so that I can pre-order in the morning if that really does wind up being a financially responsible and feasible thing to do.
Yeah, the tricky thing then is being available to get the phone and when exactly it's going to be delivered. Baby. That's true. So I am actually taking next Thursday and Friday off because my wife has her kids' clothing sale at the church. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of light on volunteers this time. So I'm going to be, about 20 totes full of kids' clothes, or I'm going to be carrying them up the stairs and out to a trailer next Thursday. And that's going to be pretty brutal. It was pretty brutal last time I did it. So think of me on Thursday morning while we're huffing those up the stairs and getting them over to the church.
Lift with your back and not with your knees. You'll be fine.
Yep. I live by that every day.
Just put a weight belt on. Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong with a weight belt. If anything,
we are here to lift the clothes.
Anyway, so yeah. Now I got to tell you, 2 weeks in a row now with Ahsoka, I've been like, no, don't stop it there. Did you see this last week?
No, I haven't watched this week's yet.
Oh. They did it again to me. Oh, it's like builds to a climax, and it's like, oh, wait, you're gonna wait another week. Like, I just waited a week to get some closure on this. So anyway, yep. So. All right. Well, that was our Predicties episode for the Apple events. If you want to know more about Cam and I and get access to all of our shows, or whatever other reason that you want to look at it, we also do have a feedback form available at innerdialogue.show. So if you feel like we didn't do you justice in today's episode, feel free to hit us up on innerdialogue.show and just click the feedback link and send us some feedback, and maybe we'll talk about all the reasons why you're wrong on the next episode. So,
oh boy.
Oh, I say that a little tongue in cheek, but not really.
Not me.
But anyway, also, if you want to find out more about myself, you can check out mitchcraig.online. And Cam, where can they find you?
In their dreams.
That's creepy.
No, CamBrennan.com, of course.
All right, perfect. Well, Cam, it's been fun. I think the next time we record is going to be what? We were slated to record.
It's going to be October.
It's going to be October, huh? October 7th? Be our next episode?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, I guess that does make sense. So, by the way, happy birthday, sir. It was Cam's birthday yesterday as we record on the, what is it, the 14th today? So you had been...
It's my birthday tomorrow as we record. It will
is it tomorrow?
Yesterday as we release.
Okay. Well, we'll see if I get it out on Saturday or Sunday. But so your birthday's on the 15th.
Indeed.
All right. Excellent. My birthday's coming up on October 1st, so we'll both have a birthday between now and when we record again. So very good.
If you wanna send us some cake, you can do that.
We take cake.
The contact form. Just send us some cake.
We take money. And we take condolences.
Wow.
Feedback form at innerdialogue.show.
Here we go. We take money. Yikes.
Cash only. Don't want the government tracking that. Anyway.
Well, it's time to end the show, Mitch.
I think the rum's wearing off. All right. Anyway, it's been fun. We'll see you back here in a few weeks, and y'all have a good time. Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
Adios.